Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Game Time Podcast. We are coming to you right after Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers get the win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, 111 to 110. I stopped there for a minute because I had to take a moment to process that sentence. Just a crazy, crazy game. There probably won't be a lot of editing to this video, just for the simple fact that, you know, we're winging it here. I want to get it out as quick as possible. Sorry for the glare if there's a lot of glare. Hopefully it's not as bad when I go to edit this video. But the Pacers get the win, 111 to 110. A lot of turnovers from the Pacers tonight, 22 in the first half and then only two in the second half to get them the win. Tyrese Halliburton sealing the game with a huge shot from the mid-range and a great game from the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 38 points, Lou Dort with 15, Jalen Williams with 17, and then Caruso with 11. And then on the side of the Pacers, you had Siakam with 17, Nembhard with 14, Toppin with 17, and Turner with 15. I'll give my thoughts here in a second. I do need to get myself together here because that was a lot of emotions. I want to make sure if we're going to do this, I have some thoughts put together. Darrel, I'll let you have the floor. You're the Pacers fan. How are you feeling? We kind of talked on the phone. You said you're not surprised, and honestly, I'm not either. But I'll kind of go through how I was feeling throughout that game. But kind of tell the audience what you were feeling because a lot of emotions is what I'm feeling right now for sure.
Well, I was sitting in my chair watching the Pacers do what they've done all year, right? Be a fighting team, being resilient, um, handling pressure when it came to them in the ways of what you expect a championship caliber team to be. There's a lot of talk this past few days about how strong defensively um, Oklahoma City is. Make no mistake, they're a strong defensive team. You got to give them credit. But what Oklahoma City had not ran into in this playoffs was a team where they had to guard five players on the court at the same time. I've said this with a few of my friends in private conversations. I had a chat message I was going on with my my protege, Carl Stamper, just kind of giving him some information about this. Calm down. They're going to be okay. They're in striking distance. And one of the things about the Pacers is they continue to fight through challenges, right? Oklahoma City is very handsy. They play a lot with their hands, a lot of energy from their crowd tonight. And the Pacers didn't handle it the first, I think 16, 18 minutes of the game. They looked a little shook a little bit. They weren't ready physically for the pressure that Oklahoma City was giving them, and that showed. You're talking about, I want to say 13 or 14 turnovers in the first quarter. I think they had 8 or 9 in the second quarter, and then we go in the second half, and we have two turnovers. You know why? Because you got a coach that can make in-game adjustments, not just looking at the film and then seeing what happens the next game. He made the adjustment. One of the adjustments they made was not turn their back on the Oklahoma City defense when they were on offense. If you looked at that first half, what the Pacers doing when they're doing those dribble handoffs, they would turn their back, and those turned into four or five turnovers in the first half, and that was disappointing. But the change was they weren't turning their back on those dribble handoffs, and what they allowed themselves to do was get open looks. And make those shots like they made all year long. Obi Toppin had four turnovers, I think, in his first 6 minutes of play. However, he made up for that in the first half. He had three threes in the first half. I think he had two or either three in the second half as well. Athleticism, what was there was on display for the Pacers, where they've never had that type of athletic team probably since the '73 title game in the ABA. The other part of that is what Oklahoma City's coach did. He went small because I think he says, we're gonna scramble. We're gonna cover the ball. We're gonna sag on defense, and we're gonna play the passing lanes. Well, what that gave the Pacers, I want to say, an 11 rebound advantage for the game because they were playing four guards and one forward. during that game. So as I watched the game, I saw the ebb and flow. I felt really confident about the Pacers winning that game. Anybody who sees anything I post says the same exact thing. And it was a great win for the Pacers. And then the last thing I'll say is you said Shea Gilgeous had a great game. I don't know how many shots he took because, as you all know, I don't listen to the ESPN broadcast. I listen to the great Mark J. Boyle, and I think Shea had probably 40 shots tonight at least. And I'm not sure how many
30.
points he had.
He
30.
had
Okay,
30 and he
it
scored
felt
38.
if it felt like 40, but that's okay, right? Because you want him shooting the ball that many times because those other guys are good players, but they're good players made better by a guy named Shea who's making shots. He wasn't making those shots. Pacers played good defense in the first half. They kept themselves in the game, right? We can talk all day long about defense. They played good defense and they contested those shots in the first half. They gave themselves a chance to win the game in the second half, and that's exactly what they did. Proud of their effort, proud of the determination, and it is exactly what I said. I said they're going to fight and they're going to push, and that's exactly what they did. So no, I didn't get up and scream and yell and all that stuff like that, and finish up my last little bit because I'm going in late tomorrow. I work from home, so I can do this.
There you go, Darrell.
But with that said, I mean, I'm not cocky about it. Oklahoma City is a great
Yep.
team wise, right?
Yeah.
But the Pacers aren't some slouches either, and it's time for people to put a little bit of respect on the effort and resiliency of the Pacers. But continue to talk about the defense of Oklahoma City, what Shea can do, and what they've done in the past. A lot of people watch ESPN for 7 to 8 hours a day. You can tell by their commentary. I would suggest you listen to Mark Boyle on the radio 1070, 1075 FM or 935 FM as well, and just listen to a guy do the game in which he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't go up and down and highs and lows. He's really balanced. And that's what you got to be as a team, right? The Pacers were balanced tonight. Their broadcast was balanced tonight, and I was balanced tonight. So I'm hoping for a 2-0, and we can come on back home and see what happens in Indy on the 11th.
You brought up the broadcast piece. I'll bring that up in a second. Darrell, I love you kept it cool, you kept it professional. I'm not gonna be as I'm not gonna be as that. That first half was a rough watch.
I saw by your tweets. I saw by your
I'm
tweets.
a little more emotional, and I will happily be more emotional. We need that on the pod. Like you said, we need some yang, we need some yang, and we don't have Ramon for this recording, so I got to be a little more up and at him.
I
No,
got you. I got you.
that first half it definitely had me a little rocked, a little frustrated for sure. I even I said I have no words. Horrid hoops from the Pacers. You're lucky OKC is not hitting their shots, and I think that still reigns true. OKC had a lot of wide open shots.
Can I cut you off real
Go
quick?
ahead, go ahead.
They missed shots for a reason.
No,
They
I
had hands in their
understand.
face. They had hands in their face.
There were
This
some
is a
open
pro.
shots though.
This is a pro team from the Midwest as well, right?
I'm not just,
Yeah,
I'm
they
not,
missed
yeah.
shots. They're at home. The crowd is there for them. Everybody should. They had every reason to hit those shots.
Eh,
Think about this: 20 turnovers in the first half. That means you're turning teams over. You're getting frustrated.
yep.
They missed those shots for a reason. It wasn't because they just happened to miss shots.
No, I mean,
As the Pacers were shooting 40% from the field, we'd say, look how great that defense was all game.
mhm.
Give the Pacers some credit.
No,
Yes, Oklahoma City
you didn't
missed
let me
shots.
finish.
Yeah, well, because I want to make sure because I hear a
No,
lot about
you didn't let
Oklahoma
me.
City and their
You didn't
defense.
let me finish. You didn't let me
All
finish.
right,
But
okay, I got to
I
get
started.
rolling.
This was a first half tweet. I say I have no words. Horrid shots from horrid basketball from the Pacers. Lucky OKC did not hit more of the shots that they had open. I'm not saying the Pacers weren't there defensively, but there were some open shots there that could have went down. But then I said down 9 going into the fourth, somewhat calmed down after the fourth or after that third quarter. The worst game the Pacers have played from what I've seen this year, and they're only down 9. And I reinstated Pacers in 6. Let's book it. And then I said I'm going to do a lot more film on OKC because I am going to give credit to their defense. Their defense was very stout. It was there. And the Pacers found a way to adjust, like you mentioned in your opening monologue. I think the big thing that I noticed, Darrel, and I'm curious to see what you think. I think the big thing that I want to see the Pacers do better, it's going to go on to their superstar, Tyrese Halliburton. Is there? It's kind of like what Indiana did in New York, right? They were going after Cat, they were going after Brunson in those actions. Oklahoma City's kind of flipped that on them, and now they're going right at Halliburton. And there was a couple times tonight where Halliburton couldn't get to his spot, or he was looking when he specifically in the half where he was against Carson Wallace. Wallace was hitting backdoor cuts. Now one of those he got hit on a screen by Holmgren, or he just got caught up in between Holmgren, and it allowed that to happen. But there were some other plays tonight where Halliburton either just lost Carson Wallace or Dort, or he just couldn't get back to his defender. Halliburton's gonna have to do better about that, and then the help defense is gonna have to be better as well. There was a play in the fourth quarter where it was Halliburton and Nemhard at the top of the key. Shea
Yep.
got through him a little bit, but Siakam and Turner were there in the paint. That's going to be crucial for the Pacers going forward. But I give credit to the Pacers, very resilient, and they've been resilient through these whole playoffs, and they continue to do it time and time again. Now I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where I was like, man, I mean, this is looking rough. I'm not saying the game's over, but I was like, man, a part of me did expect this. I said it on the recording that we dropped a couple days ago. The Pacers could get punched in the mouth. And even though they won this game, right, I still feel like that first half was a punch in the mouth, regardless of what anyone wants to say. There was a bit of a, okay, now we see what this defense is about. When you're Indiana, you got to kind of see what it is. And you got to give credit to the Thunder team as well. They beat all the Eastern Conference teams at home in the regular season, other than one team, and that was Cleveland. So Indiana is now the second team to do that. So there's a lot of credit to be handed out to both teams. And you go back to the media. This finals, and a lot of people that know basketball said this is going to be a good finals, based off if the Pacers show up to play, Thunder do what they normally do, Pacers do what they normally do. This is going to be good basketball. And it was physical. I mean, obviously, there's going to be bad calls, right? But I think tonight, this was a pretty even game. And I told Jason when we were watching, I'm like, the best part about this, there's no big city bias. It's two small markets, maybe a little MVP bias, but other than that, I think the game tonight was officiated well. And you talk about the broadcast piece. I know you listen to Boyle. I listened to Boyle a little bit while I was at work. I think he did a great job. And then I went and listened to the ESPN part. And it goes back to what we've been talking about time and time again: presentation. No NBA. They used to have the finals trophy on the center court. They used to have the final script. None of that. They didn't even show the player intros. No national anthem. Nothing to make it feel like the NBA Finals. It felt like another day, another Thursday night watching a regular season NBA game. I give blame to ESPN, but I give more blame to the NBA because they could have done things to make this different. If the in-season tournament can have all these different courts and then a court in Las Vegas that's completely different, why can't the championship series have that same love? But back to the game itself, I thought it was a great game for the Thunder, and I thought it was a great second half for the Pacers, especially that third quarter. They only outscored the Thunder by 3 points in that third quarter, but it was when that third quarter got done with, I said, okay, they are still in this. Because other than that, I mean, I realized, you were confident. And I wouldn't say I wasn't not confident, but there was just a lot of things to be concerned about. But when I got a moment at halftime to look at the stats and saw we're out rebounding, we're shooting better, I was like, okay, let's see how this third quarter goes. This Pacer team usually ramps it up in the third quarter. And they ramped it up. They didn't go on a scoring run like we all thought they could, they usually go on, but they outscored them in that quarter. And I think that's what gave them the ultimate boost to get into that fourth quarter and eventually seal that game.
Well, here's what I would say to that, right? Oklahoma City played really, really tough. They're not a bunch of scrubs over there either. For me, when I saw how much they were playing their small team, and Mark pointed it out, because he's the best in the business, and I said, we're going to start rebounding the ball, and here we come. And this is exactly what happened. I believe their coach got he fell in love with the handsiness of the team, those turnovers in the first half. They call it in the world today fool's gold. They had all those turnovers in the first half. Oh, the Pacers are shook. Yeah. Think about this. You're an underdog team. You're playing a 68 win team, a regular season team that won 68 games. You're a 50 win team. You're from Indiana. You were underdogs against Cleveland. You were underdogs against New York. All these things. Yeah, they did punch him in the mouth. But here's the difference between the Pacers and other teams. And as I said to you, there will not be a blowout in this first game. And you because remember, you see, because when we talked about punching the mouth, the the the
I did
thought
mention the
was,
word blowout.
yeah, I remember.
I
I
did say
believe,
it. I did.
but believe me, but that's what I'm saying. So you at this stage where the Pacers are, you're not looking at a blowout
Fair
because they're
enough.
too good. They're too good. And the other thing of this is this. So the other piece of fool's gold, what Oklahoma City did to Minnesota,
No, I
four
agree.
one and two 30-point wins, right? If I remember right.
Yep.
And I said this to someone else, and he didn't listen to me, didn't believe me.
We said it on the
I'm gonna say
pod.
it. I'll say it again. When you're playing 5-on-3, you have an advantage. I said that Oklahoma City will have to guard 5 players, not 3. That played out tonight. That doesn't mean the Pacers are going to win the series. So be clear on that. But
Yeah.
understand they've got to make an adjustment. Say, listen, we got to guard all these guys.
Yeah.
If they expect Lou Dort to hit 5 3-pointers again in game 2, I hope they feel that way.
Yeah.
I hope they feel like Shea needs 30 shots in game 2. I hope he shoots 40 shots. Matter of fact, I hope he scores 50 points. I'm hoping he has an NBA Finals record in total points, and I don't know what the record is, but I hope Shea gets it in game 2. Because again, you look at Shea, and when people talked about Williams, that's the Williams from Santa Clara Williams. Oh my God, he's a great number 2. You got the great Caruso, and that's great. Those guys, all this running around playing strong defense, but you got to make shots at some point.
Yes. Yep.
Caruso is going to get a lot of credit for playing defense. I hope he gets the same amount of attention on those open threes he missed in the corner.
Yep.
Open 2-pointers on the baseline.
And that's
so
what I was.
You gotta balance that out. You gotta balance it out.
And that's where my tweet went, where I said they're lucky OKC's not getting these open shots. But I think I'm pretty sure we mentioned this in the pod that this Oklahoma City offense is not the strongest. And I said it
Right,
downstairs.
exactly.
I said it downstairs. I said Dort is their best defensive player, but he's their worst offensive player on the floor when you look at that starting lineup. I think the big thing for Oklahoma City is what we talked about on the pod on Sunday is this isn't a team that has 3 shooters, right? This is a team with 5 shooters. Everyone can shoot the ball, and the biggest thing for Oklahoma City is you're gonna have to match that scoring. And I don't think there was a point tonight where there was a drought for Oklahoma City. There was just enough. Well, I guess misses would count as a drought,
Yeah.
But I guess
it was enough to keep the Pacers in the game, right?
Yeah.
There was a time when Oklahoma City went up by 15 and the crowd was going crazy. I could hear on the radio.
That was
I
in
don't know
the
what
start of
those.
the fourth because Carlisle
Yeah,
had
I
the
don't know.
bench in.
Yeah. I don't know what
Yeah.
those yahoos on ESPN were saying, but I'm sure they were. Oh, here it comes! Here it comes! I'm thinking to myself,
The Thunder
you're
run.
playing right. I'm thinking you're playing
Yeah.
right into the Pacers' hands because Dort had hit a 3. And I'm thinking, oh, he thinks he's a 3-point shooter.
And then J-Dub got the turnover and the dunk,
Yeah.
which caused the timeout.
So that's what I'm saying, right? The series isn't over by a long stretch, but for those who thought that Oklahoma City was going to just be a buzzsaw, I had someone message me, my boy Corey Wheeler. He told me Oklahoma City in 3.5. He was that confident. I said, okay, fine. I didn't respond because I don't do that, right? So I watched the game, and that's what's important. You can say all these things you want. Watch the game.
I said on the pod on Sunday, I said mine says OKC in 6 or 7, but I've kind of changed that through the week. I said my mind says OKC in 7. My heart says Pacers in 6 because I didn't say it on the pod. I said they have to get a game in Oklahoma City if they want to win
You
in
better
6.
not stay still. You better not stay still.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I know.
I didn't say it.
Only steal what you don't deserve. The Pacers deserve this win tonight. They played 48 minutes, not 40. They played 48.
I
And
well,
think about this.
I,
3 years ago, that Pacers team, and I'm sorry for cutting you off.
you're all
3 years
good.
ago, that Pacer team loses by 28.
Yep.
That's simple. That's
Yep.
simple. I was one of Rick Carlisle's biggest detractors
So
when
was
he came
I.
back. When he came back,
I said
I said
he'll be the
he's a
reason they
control
don't get
freak.
over the hump.
I said he's a control freak. I said he wants to call every play. But when he did, that was when we didn't have the team we have now, right? And as the team got better, he gave the reins to the team. When Halliburton came on board, that's when the clock struck.
I told Jason this downstairs. I think it was in the New York series. The Knicks were going on a run, and Hallie took a three. And he was like, "Why would Hallie shoot that?" And I'm like, "Because Carlisle said it in a press conference." Because one of the members of the media asked, "How do you feel about Halliburton taking a three?" I don't think it was, and he was like, "That's our star player. He can do what he wants." And that right there, and even before that, you can tell
Yeah,
Carlisle has let
I promise you.
he's let the reins go, right? He's let the reins go, and he's letting
I
this
promise
team.
you.
Yeah,
I promise you. When we was Ron Artest's coach, he would not have said that.
no,
He would not have said that. And it was the team was a little different. I get it,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
in my humble opinion, I still say Ron Artest was our best player when Rick Carlisle was here. When with the
No, it
malice and
was.
all that,
He
you know.
was. Yeah,
But with that said, Rick Carlisle has changed. And listen to him talk, seeing him on the sidelines, leveraging his assistants, right? You pay attention to that.
Lloyd
He's got
Pierce.
assist. He's leveraging Lloyd Pierce from Atlanta, who Trae Young got fired. Think about this: Lloyd Pierce got fired by Trae Young. Rick Carlisle got fired by Luka Doncic. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. Those guys can coach. Those guys can coach, and you've got a team that's not overconfident. They're confident because as you know, this isn't March, this isn't December, and it's crazy because I was at the game here in Oklahoma, in Indiana, when Oklahoma City came, and Shea got 35 or something. People were mad. Oh, he's just dominating you. I hope he scores 50 the next game. I really do. If I'm telling you now, if Shea scores 50, Pacers are going 2-0.
I'll let you have that quote. I like I
Hey,
said,
but hey, as they say, book it.
Hart
Book it. I'm
Hart
hoping he scores 50.
Hart's been said. I've said this in the podcast. Hart says Pacers in six, and I said they have to get a game on the road because that's just how it would line up. And
Right.
they got their game on the road. I give them
No,
credit.
no, 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 no. That got their game. Is another game on Sunday, and that game is not going to be a give back game, right? The Pacers have been underdogs all playoffs, right? A lot of talking about this is this
Well, I'm
yada
not
yada.
saying like
No,
I'm just saying
look,
like
I know you, but people are thinking, oh, they got their win. Oh, they can
no,
relax.
yeah, okay, I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
there's no real. This isn't about this is when you. This is about
Yeah,
they can relax. No, no, no. Watch
no,
what happened. Watch this, and this I'm glad it's recorded. Watch the first quarter of the game on Sunday.
yeah.
Pacers are going to be up by at least 5.
I yeah, I was just saying they got their win because to win in six, they had to win a game in Oklahoma. That's all I was saying with that
What's wrong with
sentence.
winning in 4?
Oh, no, I agree. I don't disagree with
Listen,
you. I
I'm
wish they
not
would have done it
saying
against New York.
I'm not saying that, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this team isn't the team that's going to go out there and get blown out in this series unless there's an avalanche and all of a sudden they can't miss. And those things happen. Like as I
Yep.
said to you prior to this recording, the last time that the worst game the Pacers played all year was against San Antonio, the first game, the game in France. I think the Pacers got beat by 38 points. That was
Mhm.
their worst game of the season by far. You can count home losses. You can count the loss against OKC at the
Yep.
end of the season, 131-102. That wasn't as bad as that San Antonio loss. You know why? Because you weren't playing against a dominant team.
Yeah.
They played horrific. But guess what they did the next game? They turned around and gave them a 30 burger back.
Yeah. I want
They
to.
beat them by 30 plus.
So I think the other thing, and we haven't talked about it much yet, is the stats, right? The team stats. Pacers shot 18 of 39 from three. That's
You got to give me on you got
46%.
to give me on camera taking my sip here.
Go. I don't think it got it
Go
because
ahead.
I was talking, but hey, the Pacers shot 46 from three. Thunder shot 36. I think the big thing you got to look at though is the rebounds. 56 rebounds compared to 39 for Oklahoma City, and I think that's a
Said
big.
nine. I said nine. I didn't know it was 17 because I don't
That's
listen. So
no, you're
I'm
good.
counting in my
Well,
mind,
I
right?
don't even
I'm
look at
thinking
the.
9 or 10.
I obviously they're not sponsored, but I am gonna get. I check the real app. The real app is where it's on my phone. They live stats all the time. It's quick and easy compared to Bleacher Report or ESPN. If you like
Okay.
basketball, it's got MLB. It's got all the sports you need. But yeah, I mean they just and you know what? I'm gonna give a little thanks to Mitchell Robinson. You know he helped them get ready for to out rebound Oklahoma City with the way he was rebounding in that series. So
They
I
needed it. They
yeah,
needed it.
and I got to give the Pacers credit. They had a great game rebounding, and honestly, that's probably what kept them. That's what I'm not gonna say kept them in the game, but it helped them right stay in this game with the amount of offensive and mainly defensive rebounds that they were getting in this game. And defensively, I don't think the Pacers played bad. It was just the turnovers. I mean, we'll call it like it is. That first half was not good. As I
They
put
were
on Twitter,
shook. They were
it
shook. They were
it
shook.
yeah,
I give it to
it
them.
was rough.
Hey, listen. As a basketball analyst, and that's what we do, right? We analyze things, right?
Yeah.
And you got to give Oklahoma City credit. They came out. They shook the Pacers, very handsy, playing passing lanes. But here's the other thing: what you notice when the Pacers in their set, they're not playing the Pacers straight up.
No, they're
Those
in a
guys,
zone.
those it's a modified zone. It's not a straight up
Yeah,
zone,
because
but
if
pay
it,
attention.
I noticed it
Yeah,
very early on. The Thunder's perimeter, they're pushed up more. It's almost
yeah,
like if you look at it, the Pacers are farther back. Like they're not close to the half court
yeah.
line, but they're way
Yeah, they're
closer than
pushing.
you'd
They're
want them
pushing
to
out.
be. They're
You're
put yeah,
exactly
yep,
right.
yep, yep, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
They
noticed
push
that
them
very
out.
early
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Pay it. See, and this
And
people don't
you're
watch the
seeing
nuances.
the constant screens, Siakam screens, and then Turner, and then they just
Yeah,
keep running those screens, and it works because what did we say? I think it was against Cleveland. The Pacers are looking for either an open shooter or they're setting up a mismatch. That's the two
yeah,
thing, and they will continue to do it until you're running around playing catch up, and then somebody's
yeah.
open. That's the Pacers'
And
bread and butter.
and you can say what you want. Shea Gilgeous Alexander is a good perimeter defender. He wasn't that guy, that we thought. Well, I don't say we thought. He wasn't who everybody said he is tonight. He wasn't. You know why? You saw him on the ground a lot, right? You saw him on the ground a lot, sucking wind, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
they got 11 players deep. You saw him on the ground, chest pumping, right?
They did play Shea a little more tonight. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the finals. He
You know,
played 40
do you know
minutes.
do you know why they need? Think about this. He averaged 33 minutes a game in the regular season.
Yeah.
33 minutes a game in the regular season.
Well, if you look at the minutes, right? So Shea played 40, Dort played 36, J Dub played 36, Wallace played 33, Holmgren played 24. I mean, we talk about a guy like Hartenstein, right? He's been potent in this OKC lineup. He played 17 minutes, and then Caruso
You know
played
why?
28.
You know why Hardenstein only played 17 minutes? Because in that drop coverage, he didn't want to go out and guard the 3-point shot.
No.
We made 5 3-point shots on Hardenstein, not willing to close out.
And in
Maybe it was
Chet,
four. Maybe it was four, but four,
yeah,
at least four, when he didn't want to go out and close out. You know why? Because he's not quick of foot. So
Chet,
I want Hardenstein in the game. I want him in
yeah,
the game.
because I'll give Chet's a better perimeter defender than Holmgren. Chet's a good defender all around, and that's why this Thunder team works so well. You've got Shea, who's an let's just offensive genius. He can score. I'm gonna say scoring genius, right? Because offensive,
Yeah.
there's an all around game there, but Shea can dish the ball too. But surrounding him, you've got J Dub, you've got Chet, you've got Lou Dort, you've got guys that are more defensive minded than offensive minded. I said it downstairs. I said Chet is a okay offensive guy. He's very up and down. Tonight he had 6 points. Next game he'll have maybe 17 and 10, right? He'll have a double double. It's up and down.
We'll
So
see. I don't know because
it'll happen at some point.
here's why I say I don't know about that. Because in the last series against Minnesota, he wasn't pressed.
Yeah, it's okay.
He wasn't
Yeah.
pressed. No, and I'm not saying that Miles is the next Will Chamberlain, but I'm telling you, man, that guy's a player. And I saw somebody posted, "Oh, Miles is so soft. I'm sick and tired of him." Just settle down, Francis. Lighten up.
Yeah.
Just relax a little bit and watch the game as a whole. There's a reason why Chet Holmgren at 210 pounds isn't the impact against the Pacers as he was against Minnesota. You know why? Because Miles is a scoring threat. The guy he played against in the last series was not.
Yep. I
That doesn't mean the Pacers win the title. That just means those are facts. And people, you can't argue with facts.
We've got about 5 minutes left in
Damn, already?
I I know. There's one more person I gotta give props to because if to quote The Last Dance, it was made personal. When Shea shoved Nemhard and
You
then
saw that.
Nemhard
Push
came
him,
back
yeah.
and shoved him back. And for Nemhard to answer back with a step back three over
Yeah.
Shea, I will give Andrew. If they could lose the series. I will. I'm just saying. I will go out and buy. I'm buying an Andrew Nemhard jersey just off that.
Well, I'm not.
You
I'm
went
not.
one on one
I
with
can't afford it. I can't
no.
afford it. But
The final 5 minutes of this game. I don't know. He's probably guarding him all night. I wasn't really paying attention to that. I know it was like a mix, but in those final 5 minutes, Andrew Nemhard proved his worth over and over. He proved his worth
he didn't
once
back
again.
down. He didn't.
Didn't
See,
back
here's the
down.
thing.
There was
We
a
can sit there
moment.
and
I don't know
all
if
this talk. He didn't back down.
there was a moment where, and Jason pointed it out, where Neesmith. It was the final couple minutes. Neesmith came over to guard Shea when he's bringing up the ball. Nemhard waved him off. Said, "Nope, I
Yeah.
got him."
Oh, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love it. He made it.
I was
It
texting my
became
boy.
personal.
I was texting Carl Stanford at that exact time, and I said to him, I said, the flopper is frustrated. I'm gonna send you that screenshot of the text. I said the flopper is frustrated, and I said, he's. I'm not saying getting in his head. He's not.
No,
No one can get in the Shay's head.
he's the
But
MVP
I'm gonna tell
career.
you, he's not used to that fight. He
No,
didn't get that fight last series.
nope.
He definitely didn't get it against Denver.
Yeah,
They don't have a perimeter defensive player like we've got. All those things come into play, but it still doesn't mean the Pacers win in four. What it means is they won the first game. They gotta come in. They gotta come in on Sunday and act as though it's 0-0,
yep,
or hell, even 0-1.
yep. Because I mean, when you look at it from that team, when you look from a locker room standpoint, we talk about they didn't steal it, they earned it, right? You could in the Pacers' mind, they could go in with a sense of we really came, we really. I'm not saying it. We really stole this game, right? They could have that mindset.
They're not
They,
saying stolen either. They don't
but
talk like that either.
no, I'm
Only,
just
only,
saying, like you
only.
talked about being down 0-1.
Hey,
I just hope.
listen.
I hope
Here's the
that
thing.
first. I hope they rewatch that first half.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this right. You got to speak it into existence. When you start talking about we stole it, that means you didn't deserve it. You took something that wasn't yours.
Hmm.
That game one was theirs, and we'll see what happens in game two.
Yep.
But there's
Which is
absolutely no reason why the Pacers shouldn't believe they should leave coming back home to the friendly confines of Cotfield Game House, and they should be at 2-0. Well, that's my hope. That's why and I'll be disappointed if they're not. Just so you know that. If they're not 2-0, I'm disappointed.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Man, I have no reaction. They won that game. Halliburton hits another clutch shot.
So overrated. So overrated.
Now Ty.
I mean, think about this. 12 of his peers said he's the most overrated player in the game.
I would love to know.
Did you see? Did you see my boy at the game, John? Did you
I
see
did
John
not see
Halliburton at the
John.
game?
Oh, I did see John.
Listen,
I was like, I did see. Yeah.
I don't know what they said on that TV broadcast. Because again, I don't listen to him. I listen to Mark J. Boyle, the best in the business.
We got like
But
we're almost under a minute, but I'll let you finish real
okay,
quick.
we're good. I like again, good to see John at the game. I can't wait to see him at the home games here.
I I really don't have a final statement. I'm shocked. I'm gonna watch a lot of film tonight. I can't drink beer yet, so I'm gonna grab a pop and I'll celebrate. But
Do your thing.
what a night!
I'm starting work tomorrow at 10. I'm starting work tomorrow at 10, so I'll be okay.
I appreciate Darrel for coming on. Halliburton hit that
No
shot,
doubt.
and the first thing in my mind was, man, we really got to record because He's hit all these clutch shots and we never record. I'm glad we got to record tonight. Folks, this will be up in the next hour. Thank you guys for watching the Game Time podcast. We will see you
Pacer
guys.
Nation. Pacer Nation. Let's go. Let's go.
We will see you guys for the next episode.